Everybody, hopefully y'all can hear this. There's no intro music. And with the disastrous imperialist but in essence the rest of the countries voted yes. Superpowers with the vetoes voted to abstain. And like the United Nations is an imperialist org, and so we oppose their fucking bullshit. But yeah, this plan for Palestine, this genocide that they want to continue and try to put more troops to help the Nazi Zionist army is fuck. I'm just very disgusted by that event. But yeah, it's this is where we're at. As well, Lebanon is still fighting as well, because half the country is also occupied by Zionist Nazis at the moment. I was just checking the YouTube app to make sure it's running. So it's running. But, anybody can talk as well. I'm just taking a breather.
I'm preparing.
Yeah, I mean, part of it too is just that I feel like the whole world, and I think I had said that like last month, is like the whole world, and especially the Imperial Core, no less of doubt, were really failing Palestine, and we've so far failed to really combat our imperialist governments here.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and in China and Russia, they were gonna abstain, and I saw that coming, and that was just kind of obvious, and that's why it's up to us. It's up to everybody else, but us especially out here in the Imperial Core, to not just speak out for Palestine, but combat the imperialist fascism. It's also our job to, because this is related to everything, is to combat these Zionists in our spaces that like to call themselves progressive or liberal or whatever the fuck, because that's still a huge problem, especially out here. The whole Zionist state needs to be done with. The whole Zionist concept needs to be done with. It has to go. More than 500,000, maybe 600,000 Palestinians have died, been killed. So, yeah, this is one of the worst genocides in history. It's a Holocaust, basically. And it wasn't just the last 2 years, really, 70 and 90 years in total. And across from the UN building, you know, the Zionists were able to hitchhike their favorite DSA two-state solutionist, you know, Zoran Mamdani, not that far from the UN building, and literally in the same city. And it's just like, and we have people doing the most Americanized gymnastics to just defend this crap, defend Zionist police commissioners that have been spying and brutalizing, arresting the Palestinian movement, anti-genocide protesters, and really the whole commissioner in the department has decades of spying on minority communities in New York City since the Bush era, you know, and it's added up to this point into brutality. And it's like, it's us as communists not to make excuses for that crap and actually protest against these bullshit policies from Mamdani, these bullshit picks. Same thing with the real estate mogul that's in charge of the house planning or whatever that Mamdani just put in. Like literally just some bourgeois real estate agent. More than an agent, like, you know. And we have, unfortunately, in America here, if I'm being honest right now, we have an issue where people are falling for this crap again. And they're doing the. I mean, it's worse than when AOC won, in the sense that people just want to pat themselves on the back. They want to call themselves anti-Zionists. But when push comes to shove, oh, well, you know, he's got to work with the Zionist police. Oh, well, we can't really even push him left anyways. We got to support his agenda and yada yada. Oh, well, Zoran says we can't support this one person to primary Zionist most AIPAC money out of all of Congress. And I'm not even saying that the person that's challenging him is like good. They could be an opportunist. I've heard bad and good. I'm not even saying that like they should run in the Democrat primary. But the fact that like Zoran is being platformed by these bread tubers, these sock them tubers, and they're just letting him like spew his demands, where he's like, oh, well, you know, you got to choose the movement we're building, or you can go build up a caricature of our movement. And it's like, what do you mean, like, your movement or our, like, Well, I'm glad the audio is working better now. Yeah, I was just looking at the comment. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we, the way everything's gone, the election's already passed, and, I don't blame the voters, how they voted. That was inevitable and all that. I knew Mandani was gonna win, and nobody wanted that Zionist rapist Cuomo. Like, yeah. But like now that we're here and we're doing the stream and all these days have added up. I mean, really, I had already been suspicious of Mandani around September, August, when I saw that he was on TV talking about equal rights in so-called Israel or whatever the fuck and all that. And there were other betrayals. He went on Fox News, and he started apologizing for saying that he wanted the police to fund it in some tweet, and he promised that that wasn't his plan, and he was gonna have a good relationship, blah blah blah. I'm sorry, NY pig. I'm sorry, NY pigs. I didn't mean to tweet that out. Yada yada. And it's just like, I mean, it's just disgusting. And some people called that out for sure, especially outside DSA. But it's gone way too far now. It's gone way too far. He's pushing right wing like every day. He just went to the White House last Friday. And I mean, he's taking photos with Trump at like the FDR frame and all this. And then they have the press conference and he's like standing next to Trump and they're asking questions and it's all kind of buddy buddy type crap. And like, and then, eventually Trump talks a little bit about Bernie. And then, yeah, one of the reporters asked Mondani if he still thinks Trump's a fascist. And a lot of people saw that clip where Trump was like, yeah, just tell them I'm a fascist. You can do it. And, Mondani just does his usual chuckle. And he doesn't even really do it. But, like, people saw that clip, apparently. And apparently a lot of these sock them types and even these reformist Marxists that are like in the DSA and PSL, etc. They were like, "Oh, this is like a victory." They were calling it like a victory. It just felt like some postmodern kind of horror show. Like, were we watching the same thing? Apparently we were, but no. I mean, I just saw the influencers tweet out like, "Oh, this is a victory. Look, he like he made Trump laugh and smile and blah 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 and all this." And it's just like, what are you talking about? And of course, Mondani in that same conference, he's talking about how much he's gonna protect the Zionist community and he's gonna wipe out anti-Semitism. Well, as long as it's not about the Palestinians, I guess. And it's just like, and it's just disgusting. This is class collaborationism. And then, of course, Mondani spokesperson said that like he's not gonna work with Trump's Gestapo unless it's violent criminals, which literally we all know what that fucking means. That literally could just mean you protesting the fucking fascist Zionists outside the UN building. And that's still gonna give the excuse for the Gestapo to be fucking raiding apartments or public places with their fucking guns and their masks. And so this is a social fascist betrayal. Just taking a little bit of a breather. It kind of happens sometimes, but and hopefully my end is working well still, regardless. But yeah, it's we had to have a serious conversation in the public sphere of things because, for obvious reasons, I mean, the point of this stream as well is to give advice to people and really to push back against this opportunism, this chauvinism, really this attempt to abandon Palestine. Because even before the election, it was becoming clear to me that people were just not talking about Palestine anymore. They weren't talking about Lebanon, Syria. And the only time it really does get brought up, besides the UN vote last week, is in context of people making excuses for Zionist Mandani, basically, and for his meeting with Trump and all this crap, who was literally colonizing Palestine. Like, it's no longer just the Zionists colonizing Palestine. There are U.S. troops there, private security, and there's gonna be pretty soon. There's supposed to be this whole colonizer UN brigade that Trump set up with a lot of the imps and the junior partners of imperialism, all the compradors. You know, Pakistan voted for this thing as well. Azerbaijan, Indonesia, which is why, I was calling out people who were going against the protesters in Indonesia because, like, yeah, they're going against another fascist government there that's supporting Zionism. And so, again, the struggle is interconnected. And it's like, we as communists have to be the strongest voice for Palestine, even though I don't even think you have to be a communist anarchist, if we're honest. And it's just like, I'm not I'm not gonna budge. I'm not gonna tell to this. While the DSA and the fighting force on the ground, you know, Mondani is collaborating with Trump, and that's the reality. And I just saw a lot of people just glazing Trump too. And Trump is playing y'all. Yeah, and betraying Palestine for free buses or a free train ride, that's not fucking good. It's not. And it's one of those things too where like I have to be honest, like a lot of the arguments I just come across or get thrown at really, besides the people just throwing insults and oh you just want Cuomo to win or whatever and all that crap. I see people try to say that social fascism doesn't exist anymore because blah blah blah. That's a 1933 Comintern thing, blah blah blah, and it's like no, it's actually the 1920s if I remember correctly. And even then, the political phenomenon of social fascism can't just be reduced to like that alone. Like people have been talking about social fascism since Dut, you know, even outside of the US context or the Germany context, you know, Mao opposed to social fascism, Hoxha opposed to social fascism, and the Euro communist opportunistic movement too, you know? And, and don't forget Rosa Luxemburg, she got killed by them as well. And I see this thing as well happening where like, oh, DSA isn't actually like sock dems. Maybe they're just really, you know, oh, they're like democratic socialists or something. Like apparently people are still making like a really, they're trying to pretend that's like a bigger, I don't know, distinction, difference. No, because ultimately the DSA, as Bad and Panada has pointed out, has I mean, yeah, look, like the DSA literally endorses Democrat Zionists. They vote Democrats. I'm not saying all the members do, of course, but ultimately their committees, their national group, and unfortunately, even a lot of the Marxists in those caucuses have conceded to those positions. Sometimes it's 50-50, maybe 55-45. Maybe some people have already quit DSA, I've heard. So, you can kind of guess the number. But ultimately, you are effectively still the sock dem sock distinction has no value here because ultimately you're both still operating in the same exact apparatus and you're reproducing the same ideology. This is not dual power. Voting for Mandani is not dual power, and defending Mandani over and over and all this, all this great man theory stuff, that's not dual power. And you're helping the capitalist neoliberals do their thing and survive off of social fascism. Yeah, but that's not dual power. And it's not communist behavior. And it's just not even humane behavior to abandon Palestine and to fucking support these fucking cops, these Zionist cops. And we should not be working with any of these labor Zionists, whatever they call themselves now. Because I see they got these new labels. They got some stupid label called like what? Non-Zionism or whatever.
It doesn't
What?
exist.
Yeah, what the fuck
It's
does
like
that
saying
mean?
non-racism.
Oh, sorry about that. You could talk if you
No,
want.
no, it's good. Like it's like saying non-racism when there's very much racism.
Mm-hmm.
They're making Zionism into this abstract thing, just exactly what they fucking did to racism back in the 70s when COINTELPRO pretty much succeeded and internal contradictions imploded in the movement. And trying to, have Zionism be more palatable inadvertently, in the sense that, like, racism is his very own thing and people are separated from, kind of like its reflection, which is not true because everybody is influenced by race. Like, there is no way to put it. No matter how much you say that race doesn't matter, it does. Because why is there still black and brown workers in chain gangs in Arkansas? So let's not go there for Zionism either. Because Zionism and racism is a tool of the bourgeoisie. Y'all are just affirming the bourgeoisie. That's false consciousness. They are promoting false consciousness to the work again.
Yeah, just to let you know, we're live for anybody entering right now.
Oh, huh?
Mm-hmm. Sorry about that interruption.
No, you're good. That was it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And when I hear these, because that's the new trend right now with these labor Zionists, these foxes, in sheep's clothing or whatever. Like they're trying to find a new label because they know the Zionist label is fucking toxic and associated with Nazism and their fucking bloody imperialism. And so, like, this non-Zionist label or this post-Zionism label, it's just a bunch of cowardly bullcrap. And it's one of these things, unfortunately, they're gonna keep adopting to. But we don't need these people in any of our spaces. It is up to the Jewish community to prove themselves to be completely against this bullshit 100%. And there's not going to be some half-measure crap where like, oh, it's only Netanyahu. None of that crap. They have to oppose all of it. And that even includes like some of these like middle-class white Zionists, particularly like liberals and even others, because, like, yeah, you have these weirdos who are also attached to Zionism. And this is also just part of it because, like, America is obviously interconnected with that fucking disgusting Zionist shit and vice versa. And so there's a problem, too, where the Jewish community is also stuck up on upholding Americanism and their white identity ultimately. That's not to even deny that there's some Jewish people who aren't like, I don't know, they don't have white skin or whatever, or they've come from diaspora backgrounds. But if they're stuck in Zionism, that's the problem, and it's still a fucking problem. So I don't really even care that much about whether they call themselves white or not. Because if they're not against the Zionist shit, they're fucking Zionists. And we don't need them in our spaces. They have plenty of other spaces they can go to. If you're not going to support Palestine, go elsewhere. Get the fuck out of here.
Yup.
And like for people that are like from Germany, I know that they've passed some like really bullshit laws out there. But even then, like be honest to yourselves. Like even if you're into that anti-Deutsch stuff or whatever, drop the Zionist bullshit. Just drop it. You're not being any better than the Nazis if you're supporting Zionism. Call it out. Call it out. And work with people in Germany who are against it, you know? And that includes like, beyond even Germany. Because like obviously there are some Zionist spaces in parts of Europe too. But Canada has that problem too. So it's not even just the US, but the US is obviously a big problem.
Yeah.
And I don't really focus too much on like the whole bread tube, whatever you want to call that, slop tube scene on my channel. Like really I don't. But in this case, like if you're still addicted to just consuming these kind of like sock them type channels or revisionist Marxists who can't oppose Zionism because that is a problem out there, you're gonna have to make a tough decision and just bail on them, especially if they ain't coming to our side. It's opportunism. It's opportunism to have Mondani on and just let him spew whatever he wants, and you don't even ask him a fucking tough question and all that stuff. And some of these slop tubers want to like defend Lynn and all that crap. Get the hell out of here.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm reading one of the comments on the YouTube, and I mean, yeah, I mean, ultimately, when it comes down to it, with these people who claim to be anti-Zionist, you gotta ask them like, you want to abolish the whole entire Zionist apparatus and its ideology or not? Because we ain't having any of this. Because anything less than that is completely worthless. I mean, these influencers and even some of these like revisionist orgs and channels, like that are telling that two-state nonsense. I mean, ultimately, they are part of the problem, and they have to be called out, and people should call them out, and people should also just bail on them, bail on them. They need to understand that we're not tolerating that shit in the movement in general. And for obvious reasons, just so nobody, just so everybody's clear, like, oh, I mean, if you're like a colonized person and you're supporting Zionism outright, you're just as much as a problem. I would be disgusted.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing with Mandani is just like really getting real toxic. It's really cultish behavior, and it's not even good when so-called Marxists are making excuses for that behavior. I mean, ultimately, the ones in DSA, I mean, they're not gonna like to hear this, but I don't really care right now. Like, if you're still in there, you're basically being eaten up You're being eaten up, and what I am noticing is that the Marxists in there that got tricked into joining due to some like revisionists like BRG and others. I've seen that they've deteriorated their principles. And so, like, you need to just take a cold turkey, leave, and on the sidelines, yeah, you can pull some people out of there. Go for it. I want people to leave DSA, self-criticize and acknowledge, the mistakes that were made, and triism doesn't work. Hell, I'm critical of myself right now that, like, I wasn't calling out this stuff 2 years ago. I'm critical of myself for believing that Black Red Guard was being serious about kicking out the Zionists from DSA. You know, I, you know, and ultimately last summer when it came down to it, to the fine line, yeah, they passed some little platform saying they support Palestine and all this, and then there is just another stupid vote where they added in some toxic pill about like only supporting secularism or whatever the hell, and it
Yeah.
was very confusing. I don't know why it was worded like that. I think it was done for purposes malign to protect people who were, because let's be real, around like 43% of DSA voted against the Palestinian resolution because they're Zionists. And but when it came to the next day of the convention, I saw people like Black Red Guard and others say that, well, we can't kick out everybody who's a Zionist, blah 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 blah. We work with them, and that's like 45%, blah blah blah. And look at where we're at now. And look at where they are at now. And now they're making excuses for fucking Zionist police commissioners and what fucking bourgeois real estate guy is in charge of Mondani's housing committee, you know. So, and all this other shit where they're abandoning Palestine, and Mondani wants to pass a bill where people can't protest outside like Zionist fucking bourgeois buildings or whatever the fuck. It's fucking like stupid. It's it's disgusting. I don't give a shit if they hold a little. I don't give a shit if they have their little Zionist. You know, it's this. It's not even a synagogue. It's literally just a fucking building where they got offices on the rest of the fucking floors. But because they use one floor for like Zionist rituals and all this, we're not like people can't protest like within like the block of the whole vicinity. That's the bill they want to pass. Come on, that's some bullshit. That's some weird ass fucking colonial exemption for a bunch of settlers, really. It's bullshit. We got Zionist problem too, even in places like Los Angeles, where the fucking Zionists, they got their masks on and they're fucking assaulting Palestine protesters and college students, and the fucking LAPD won't do shit. They literally announced like earlier this year that they're not gonna indict a single one of them that have been caught on camera and like identified, which is how you know the cops are never on our side. But it's and even LADSA has a Zionist problem. LADSA doesn't even oppose the LAPD, and they just go along with whatever Karen Bass tells them to do, basically. And their little protests, they're all registered with the cops, and it's all disgusting. It's all disgusting. You don't even need to register a stupid little piece of paper. That's bullshit. It's bullshit. Yeah, yeah, Mandani really is trying to, for the people listening, yeah, he really is trying to work on a bill to ban protesters from protesting outside these fucking public Zionist buildings, like literal buildings in New York City. Like they can't even make the excuse that like they're protecting, like, I don't know, some fucking bourgeois house in Long Island. No, no, like they're actually doing the thing where like basically outside the UN building and some of the other areas that are like deemed Zionist or whatever the fuck. It's disgusting. The Zionists don't own the fucking public roads. Like, get the fuck out of here. And so people, and if you really are in DSA and you really are a SOCDEM, or you're one of those Marxists who joined because of like BRG or whatever, you know, like be honest to yourself. Like right now, and like if you are not pushing, if you're not able to push like your caucus to protest against this crap, and they're just telling you blah blah blah, just play along. That's why you gotta get out. I do want people to push Mandani left. That's what the whole point of critiquing him is actually. But apparently America, the American left can't even do that. It's so hard for them that they're only pushing right. They're only pushing to defend the status quo and mention the free bus ride. And it's just disgusting. It's privileged. And it is first worldist. You don't have to be a third worldist to realize that is just fucking imperial core chauvinistic behavior.
Hello.
Hey.
But yeah, nah, you're right. I don't know since when it's like, oh, you're going too far. When you speak against Zionism, when you speak about that's too far to some people, and it's like, what the fuck? I don't know. It feels disingenuous to call yourself a communist and not, in my opinion.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah, and it's like, that's not crazy. That's not being like ultra left. That's not being that's not ruining the party. Like BRG is just saying, oh, don't ruin the fun. Guys, stop it. You're being too mean. Don't ruin it. Can you be happy for a second? Oh yeah, I'm so happy that we have like this guy supporting Zionism and fascism and genocide in charge of a city. Oh, that is so lovely. Or when people were like, oh, Trump is agreeing with him, guys. Isn't that cool? What? Like, what? Isn't that something that should be concerning at the very least? Like, he's not agreeing with him on Burger King or something. It's not just anything to have Donald Trump agreeing with you. I think that is very bad and concerning, Like, I don't know. And I don't think that having another cult of personality around this guy is a good thing at all. Like, we have we have centuries of examples where that is a bad thing, And if you want to look at, I don't know, modern times or whatever, you have the whole last century shouting, hey, this is a bad thing, And we have all of this century as well so far to shout, hey, this is a bad thing, stop that, But people still go at it because, I don't know, like, and the most angering part, and before I continue, I'm sorry if I just say hi and I just start shouting. But like the most aggravating part of this, for example, with people like BRG and others, is that they know better. You know, it's people who have a lot of information, study, and time behind them, and a lot of people shouting at them, hey, this is a bad thing, and they still chose to support him. And now that, now I can't deny it, so I can just go back. It's okay, guys, don't worry about it. What? That's not how it works. That's not how it should work, at least. Like, I don't know how things work in general sometimes, but that just feels contradictory in a principle. In principle, it feels contradictory to do that. You know, it's just opportunistic. But yeah, I'm sorry for shouting and coming in like that. I'm drinking mate. That's not an excuse, that's an add-on, like a DLC.
Oh, no worries. All good. I actually want people to express what they can because we do live, because we're not doing the toxic, optimism stuff, obviously. And it is emotional at times to see this crap, you know?
I want to point out, you mentioned the anti-Deutsch crowd. I think a lot of that is a big part of this appeasement of Zionism in Germany, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on it, but I've seen it floating around, and it seems to be little more than just posturing, like performative self-flagellation, like you get with white American liberals. You know, it's all, oh, aren't we awful? Aren't we so terrible? Oh, it is quite, it is basically just that. So it's like, oh, I've even seen like anti-fascists, the red and black flags you see as an anti-fascist or anti-fa symbol, one over the other. I've seen that with an Israeli flag over the top and saying anti-fascismo, pro-Zionismus, anti-fascist, pro-Zionist, and I thought, what the fuck are you for real? And it seems, and this cult of personality around people like Mamdani, I didn't even know how deep-rooted that was. That's quite, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the term is very accurate, but it's like, because English, language barriers, and I'm talking off of what I know, but it sounds like something like, I don't know, pink Zionism, you know? It reminds me of when people excuse Zionism by saying, oh, you can be gay in Israel, you know? But the Palestinians hate gay people. You shouldn't support them. They will hate you. And it's like, that's not how that works, first of all. And, it's not like Israel is a paradise either, much less.
True.
And there is no excuse. Like, you can't excuse supporting genocide, you know? If you support genocide, you're not a communist. Yeah, it's end of the question. You're not a communist if you support genocide in any way. And you don't have to send them like a signed weapon to support Zionism, you know? Like, just by supporting it in your stance, or just by allowing it to exist within your space, unquestioned, that's already supporting Zionism, you know? It's just, it's too obvious. That's also annoying. It's too obvious that this is bad. I remember when I explained to my friend, I have a friend here, she's cool and she's great, but she doesn't know a lot of things because of, language barriers, because she doesn't speak English. But I told her what Zionism is, and she's like, yeah, that's very bad, yeah? And I told her stuff that's going on, and she, without the years of book behind some people, she can even tell very easily that this is very bad, you know? It's not complicated. That's the thing. It's not like rocket science. Any support of Zionism is support of Zionism. End of the question. And Zionism is fascism and all, you know? Like, it's not something that you can just wave away. You know, it's not just an opinion. It's not just me saying, oh yeah, I'm an anarchist, not a communist. Like, the difference is a bit more fundamental than that, you know? Like, I will say it now and always, there is no excuse to supporting genocide, and any support of genocide is support of genocide, you know? One is more than zero. I always say that shitty phrase, but it is true. One is more than zero, and this is a great example of that.
Absolutely.
Crazy stuff. It's silly to have to remind this to some people who have even more years and even more information than me on these matters. Like, it's ridiculous that that's something that's need to be done, but crazy days require crazy solutions, I suppose.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking disgusting for sure. I don't even know how is it that like people are even more devoted to this Mondani cult of personality, other than that like the only sort of good thing that's happened is that there's been actual pushback, well, from really people that are being loud about it, but we really need it to be a lot more. And it's just like, it's one of these things where the American left clearly has a great man theory problem. They have the whole idol worship problem. They treat Mondani and AOC like they're like bourgeois celebrities, and even then we have a problem with the celebrity culture. Always had, and is much more worse today with these like bourgeois people working for they're going like red MAGA as well in Hollywood and all that.
Yeah. Like, the aristocracy supporting fascism, like, nothing new, I suppose.
Yeah, and there is a labor aristocracy problem. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and audio is good, right? Because I have my microphone and my stuff always resets weekly now, which is lovely.
You sound good. I got my phone on my microphone so people can hear. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Microphone's nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that my settings reset now because my computer breaks weekly now and I need to reinstall Windows every week. So, I gotta set up everything back in order.
Microphone problems are a petty bourgeois deviation. That's what I put it down to, So, yeah.
I'm sorry. I need to install the problems.
Microphone problems are a color revolution. That's what it is.
Yeah, I should just use Morse code and just send
revolution. Everything pisses me off. Revolution.
You just outed me because like my microphone literally changes colors like every 2 seconds.
You shouldn't be having a sense of humor here. That's a color revolution too, or a petty bourgeois deviation. Yes.
Yes.
Capitalist decadence.
Identity politics.
Yeah.
Hey, hating Zionism is an identity politic. Please stop.
I think it's more like the other way around. I mean, identity politics. I say identity reductionism is Zionism. It's a logical conclusion of all types of identity reductionism without class analysis. I mean, preaching to the choir here. But hey, with regards to this thing about cult of personality around Mondani, I mean, to be fair, look at that. They're still fawning over Luigi Mangione. So, he doesn't. Mondani had the more pretense of being sort of socialist, so it's not really that surprising that they'd.
Yeah.
That is so infuriating. I hate that guy because it's like people are saying that people are starving. Millions of people are starving because cuts on like helping the homeless and stuff have been done in the government, right? I think it's like Medicaid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like those things are happening, and people are like, "Oh, there's no money for the homeless," but yeah, Luigi needs another million.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
That he got $1 million.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, guys, I know there's people dying in the streets, but I really like this guy. He's Jesus.
Yeah,
I have him on Jesus.
Don't get me started on that.
That is so
people,
dumb. That is just having favoritism for white people, you know?
Well, there's old revolutionaries like Black Panther members who are still in prison. Many of them are getting ill and getting old, and there's nothing for them. But Luigi, who comes from a rich, wealthy family, as well, by the way, they don't. But he gets all this GoFundMe stuff because he's supposed to be he's pretty or something, or he's pretty and white, and he did this exciting adventurous act. So isn't he great? What Luigi? I mean, want me to answer that question honestly, or not?
Yeah.
It's just so.
People said that.
So
What's not to love? I could answer that question, but I'm guessing you're saying that rhetorically, but I could answer that question, and you ain't going.
Yeah, and he did it in New York City. Ironically enough, we're always paddling back to New York City somehow.
Yeah, but there's people on death row who shouldn't be on death row. No one talks about them because they're non-white or non-white. Excuse me, I'm croaking, but yeah,
it's okay.
And it's the same with Mondani.
People also stop talking about the people sent to fucking concentration camps and prisons.
That's another one.
Not just in the US. It just, they forget. Suddenly it was a whole conversation topic, and one Democrat talked to one guy, and all of a sudden it's solved. Let's just not talk about it anymore. Sohran won. We won. Okay, we won. Everyone go back home. Just so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. That reminded me. I remember. I have it. It's one of those images that are burned in my cranium, inside my cranium, right? I thought about it so much that a laser formed and it's engraved in my cranium. About when this guy won, right? When Mamdani won, that BRG said, "Oh, y'all are ready for a Maoist governor in New York City," and it's like that is. He might say, "Oh, it's just a joke. Don't take it so seriously, guys." But it's one of those jokes that is like, it's not a joke, you know?
Yeah.
He's not joking.
Yeah.
It's so dumb, so dumb, dumb, bad, negative, not positive.
Yeah, he's been a problem. I mean, BRG has just been, he's been one of the leading forces of this reformist revisionism, and like I just don't even care if like he runs for the mayorship or not or whatever, like, as a Democrat. It's just like it is dumb. And I do see people, they do use their humor, their kind of fake irony to promote this kind of reformism and stuff like that. And that's what's kind of treacherous, is like when people have to hide behind humor to support their bullshit politics or their bullshit excuses.
I feel almost outed there, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, it's the problem where unfortunately, I guess what's happening with this Mondani phenomenon is like they're resorting to like the postmodern kind of humor,
God.
And it's
it's yeah.
If it was humor about actually, pushing against Zionists and shit.
I often do that as well, yeah. So
right.
That's being an ultra.
No, I know what you mean.
Well, because you're a principal,
You're being an ultra. If you say that, you're an ultra. I'm sorry.
I know what it is.
Ultra.
Okay. I don't care.
Oh,
My God.
the worst part is that there actually are. I mean, even the revisionist Marxists in DSA, like Black Red Guard, are going around calling people ultra for like calling Mandani a Zionist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The word ultra might have to like be abandoned now, just because of how abused it's been. You know, I somebody will have to invent a new word for it. You know.
Yeah.
It is pretty cringe. Like it's become.
We can't have anything good anymore. Yeah, that's why we can have good things, you know. It's what happens.
I've personally seen DSA people sock them. Like Trump's talking about how Bernie got cheated. My brain is like blown and blah blah blah, and look how happy he is next to Mandani. Mandani did it. And I'm like, oh my
Mandani
God.
mugged him. He got mugged. Donald Trump got mugged
Oh
by
God.
Mandani.
Oh,
I remember
God.
people saying that.
Yeah, BRG said that too.
Ah,
Oh my God.
anger. But yeah, it's like crazy. And I mean, having like it's like we're gonna repeat that meme until the day the sun explodes. But it's like, oh, you fell for it again. It's like it's just that. It's just that, oh, you fell for it again. It's not even just in like, I don't know, globally, because globally this is very common. This is very common, like very with like high letters. You know, this is very common, but in the U.S., right? This happened how many times now, and people still fall for it. It's so aggravating that this still happens today, with all the information we have, with all the time that we have to discuss about it, with all the people calling it out. It just turns out that it happens again. Oh, so crazy. Like, come on. Like, come on. Like, a little bit is fine, but this is too much. We need to go back. I sometimes don't know what to say, because this is almost comical at times, but it's real life, and it's just baffling. Like, all of this is so baffling. It takes, I don't even know what to say, because it's like, how does this happen again? Like, crazy stuff.
And it has bad effects on the worldwide left and overall when shit goes really bad out here. And it's just toxic. Yeah, I mean, there's times where I'm just like, wow. Like, I had my sock them days, but I was never this bad. Never, And I did have a thing where, like, I gave Bernie, like, a little second chance, and then he fucking, like, quit the second time he ran anyways. And he didn't even try a run on free healthcare during the pandemic. He just went easy on Biden. And then I obviously regretted that. But it's one of these things where like I knew the AOC cult was getting bad, and she's been a part of boosting up Mondani. But like, goddamn, like now it's just like, what are y'all even smoking? It ain't good. It's
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. And this is why the American left does deserve to be critiqued and mocked by the world. It really does. It really does. It really does, because people, I mean, just look. They're not learning. And, like, I want them to learn. We all do. But, like, goddamn, like, it's gonna take some serious shit, apparently. And and like these Marxists and DSA and PSL, because PSL endorsed Mondani as well. You
Oh,
know,
good grief.
they
Yeah.
because there's again a lot of opportunism. CPUSA, of course, they endorse Mondani. Like that's, you know, and
No surprise. No
yeah,
surprise.
and like all three of them, they're part of the, same apparatus ultimately. But like, yeah, it's and then you have some of these other Marxists with bigger voices. Even if it's not on YouTube, they got like followers on their social media, and they start like watering down their shit. Oh well, we gotta be really nice to people. Let's just not call Mandani a Zionist right now, okay? Let's drop social fascism, blah 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 blah. And then you look fucking stupid when Mondani's doing right wing Zionist shit every day. And that's why we're all here to put out a strong message, put out a clear message for people to follow, people to understand, and push back against the revisionist, the reformist side of things because it's bad. I mean, even Dangus are fighting with each other over Mondani because some of them see through the bullshit and then some of them don't.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag with them.
The Trots are a mixed bag. You got Trots and DSA with all this crap supporting Mondani, and unfortunately, you have your kind of like Chris Catrone, Pat Trots who are on the other end of it. Here is that we have to be the middle ground ones to call out both sides and have an effective message so that people aren't forced to pick between one revisionism over the other.
Yeah.
I mean, the lines are becoming a lot more clear on the left in America right now, and we're seeing people cave to like if we can't call Mondani a Zionist or social fascist, how can we ever criticize neoliberalism? Like how? What credibility will we even have when they're not even that different?
Yeah.
This is the same shit that the kind of right or the liberal wing of Sinn Féin and the Republican movement in Ireland did. It was if you don't support the peace process, you're just a dissident ultra kind of thing. Yeah. And I like you with Bernie. I gave that in the late 90s. I gave that the benefit of the doubt and kept giving the benefit of the doubt until it got to the point where I lost interest for a while because it was just so disillusioned, and then went back to it and realized how fucked up it really was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's the same shit with
also...
this. You're an ultra if you don't shut up and sit down kind of thing. It's like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and these situations also take up so much space in the general space of the internet and social media that we stop talking about places like Palestine, Sudan, and so on that are under like genocide, like active genocide.
Right.
And it's like those things should be our top priority when we are talking about these things. And now we have to stop everything because this guy just popped in, and it's like I'm tripping over my words because I don't like. These are so much like bigger concerns that we should have, because it's fine that it's so far, it doesn't affect me. I'm not here, I'm not there. Like, it does affect you. It affects everyone. And just because it doesn't affect you, it doesn't make it any less important either. Because it's people, humans, it's real life. It's people like you and me. If we were there, we would be dead too, or dying.
Yeah.
And it's just dehumanizing to just say, oh, it doesn't affect me. It's not here. It's not my problem. It's their problem. They should solve it, not me. Oh my God, grow up. These are
They're not my problem, brigade, are the worst. I mean, the flip side of that is it's our duty to go and help them, which tends to be a term for like pink-washed liberal interventionism. But it's not my problem. It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
It's textbook individualism. That's the thing. Individualism, and I really must do a video on it. Individualism as opposed to individuality. They're not the same thing, but they're always conflated. It's this idea that it's not our problem, we should look after our own. I mean, the logical conclusion of that is the flag shaggers over here, the, Britain first or America first over there.
Right.
Or, my job's on the line, I don't care about those people anymore. That's the same. It's the logical conclusion of that,
Yeah, it's this kind of like first world abandonment kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unironic isolationism.
That's petty bourgeois ideology.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's petty bourgeois ideology.
Yeah.
Like, we have even some elders who, express like, Palestine is important, but, what about here? We did come from a different place. So it does have a lot to do with us here. Because, like, they try to say that, like, we are completely different from, like, the rest of the world, that we should just like, have this laser focus on the local and, just, like, other struggles matter, but they don't really matter, and like we're over capacity and all these freaking excuses. Like, I've heard different white anarchists also speak this kind of like rhetoric that completely ignores us, and ignores that, like, anywhere that imperialism has its hooks in, which is worldwide, it does have a lot to do. We're trying to liquidate and atomize our responsibility as proletarian revolutionaries here in the imperial core to build revolution where the global south do not have to do all the labor of love of struggle for us, because some comrades like, like this and that thing is not applicable to the U.S. Why should we even care? Not realizing that we have not had a proletarian movement that really like got to actual conditions outside of Chicago, outside of Detroit, in like deep in like the Delta and the Ozarks and Appalachia and these places. We have not had that yet. So we just been operating off this like very one-sided analysis of, the U.S. in particular, where unfortunately is led to people having this kind of false consciousness where, they are, servicing their community, but it's so like atomized that it misses the mark on what our task should be, to build struggle within the U.S. again. And we already are like the laughing stock of the world because we can't get our shit together. I mean, it's like we are influenced by the Rockefellers every single day, indirectly, because we are in the imperial court itself. So it's a movement we can't even begin to like build up class consciousness, but the way that will expand ideology. So, people saying that we are only focusing on like what's happening in the barrio. We did come from oppressed like nations in the barrio. So let's not say that. Let's not say that. That's why like petty bourgeois ideology is dangerous, because it results in atomization of struggle and people making incorrect analyses, thinking that, oh, this solution is best for the U.S. when a socialist gun club or whatever the fuck is not going to, it's not a substitute for People's Army. It's not. And it involves work outside of these kind of spaces. I mean, like 90% of the so-called U.S. is rural. Whether people want to acknowledge that or not, like, Appalachia exists. Mountains exist here. It's like we cannot think one-sided of these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's so annoying of like the absolute empiricism that is so poignant in our movement at this moment, that people just continue missing the mark and not willing to address these questions that are not so atomized to just what's happening in their immediate local conditions.
Yeah, and I mean, to add to that, you know, it's like people haven't, something that I've noticed in a lot of Americans is that they don't work to, you know, against the American exceptionalism, which is a very predominant mentality over there. So it leads to these situations, you know, like, oh, that was planned for Russia, for Africa, for America, for South America. That won't work here. It's like, I mean, if your world starts and ends in the U.S., I'm so sorry for you, first of all. But also, it is something that you need to work against, you know, because we live in a world, you know, we live in a planet. We don't live in like in the U.S. flat Earth of the U.S. where everything else is in another planet. You need to cross the nether portal to get there. And if it's not in the U.S., it doesn't matter. And in the U.S., it's just like something absolutely alien to the rest of the world. And it's like the U.S. is unique in a lot of ways, right? As is every country, as is every place on the earth. And even within the U.S., it's a very different place wherever you look, because it's a massive country. But like, you know, there are people outside of the U.S. who live in conditions similar to places in the U.S., who have done a lot of theory, who have grown a lot, who have done a lot of praxis when it comes to revolution, and just ignoring them because, oh, this is America. We need an American plan to solve this. Only American ingenuity can bring the revolution here. That's not. It's not a good mentality, you know.
It's lazy. It's like lazy. Like y'all talk about, oh, you know, Dictadura is like, you know, idealist. Have you put that in practice to verify that? And that's the thing. They don't do practice. They don't want to do it.
Yeah, they don't want to get their hands dirty.
They are not willing to address these questions with the people, which is what Mao and Gonzalo talk a lot about for us to do. That is what we should do. For intellectuals, they have to become practical workers. Like the tendency to book read, which is what we do in bourgeois that are, you know, like, you know, educational institutions of the bourgeoisie. That's what we do. And students are so disconnected from the rest of the community outside of what the parameters of campus is that they are not given any kind of opportunity to verify anything that they study from books and apply it with the people with a different kind of consciousness. It's a problem. And, I go to, a private Catholic school, and I can sure as hell tell you that it is a huge issue. It is a very huge problem in every school. I mean, every school, right? Because they are influenced by all this bourgeois slop that, the isolation is enforced this way, that way, backwards and forwards. And it's not allowing students a chance to actually integrate into the lives of the people and become one of the people and verify all the stuff that, they study.
Mm.
And that is what Mao and Gonzalo just against. It's empirical.
Yeah. It's like integrating different groups into the movement is very important, and students exist, and they are, as they say, they are the future, so we need to integrate them in protests, in activism, all of that. It's very important,
On them with
something that is interesting to me is that a lot of things that are happening today echo stuff that happened, for example, here during the dictatorship and before that. And one of the things that the dictatorship of Argentina did the moment it got to power was something we call the Night of the Pencils, because the military went and raided every single education structure in the country. They went and raided it, and they kidnapped every single organizer within the schools, because guess what? There were a lot of communists and Bernists within schools and within secondaries, universities, and there is a reason why the military saw it as so important to get them. People went missing / killed, depends, but potato, as you say. Education is very important, and helping students in uniting with their community in our struggles is very important, because it connects their growth with the movement, with humanity, and it's you can't undermine that. You can't undermine the impact that the youth has in the world. Not just will have, because yes, they will live in the future, we live them, but the impact that they have right now as people, beyond their age, beyond their knowledge, as people within our society that will carry on the fight if we help them to do so. Because if you just abandon them and tell them, yeah, you'll get to it when you grow up, kiddo, it will be it will just lead to bad things. It will lead to more bad stuff than good stuff, Oh, I'm gonna be right back. I need to go to the bathroom.
No worries.
Yeah. And, something I've been talking about with comrades is, once again, false consciousness, right? How the final class in history, the proletariat, is influenced ideologically, culturally, and politically with a certain kind of class thinking that goes against their interests as proletarians. And we see this happen a lot with the black bourgeoisie, in my case. The black bourgeoisie promoting ahistorical slop.
Yeah.
In the highest degree to black proletarians and black semi-proletarians, black lumpen proletarians who, have no way of systematically fighting for their interests, that centers them on top of national oppression. And, you know, like promoting these ideas of like our melanin being so magical and, you know, we came from kings and queens, inadvertently affirming class oppression to them. But they may not actively know that, but this is what is promoted to them through Facebook, through Instagram, through Tumblr, through, you know, radio, through TV, anything that upholds Black middle class life and values. And, you know, it should not be isolated from, like, the development of, you know, imperialism in the past, like, 50 years. You know, because, you know, The Cosby Show and A Different World came out at the height of the Reagan and Bush eras that saw the AIDS crises, that saw, you know, like genocide on Black and brown communities, mass incarceration, you know, terrorism against poor, nationally oppressed people, and the upliftment of the middle class in these communities. And so we have to organize the proletariat to not only actively recognize their own power, but to get them away from any and all petty bourgeois influences that fundamentally go against their interests. And, you know, actively educate them to understand what history actually is, what ancient Egypt actually is, what our history actually is, away from the Umar Johnsons, away from the Tariqs, because they don't represent us. They represent the bourgeoisie, plain and simple. And you cannot tell me otherwise. But we haven't had a movement like that that will really confront it, and we're building it. But like, these are questions that must have like proper attention, so that we don't make the same mistakes of like just leaving it up to God to do it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I mean, even the Chicano community has its problems with, you know, with the assimilationism, Americanism. And, you know, I've seen as well, even this whole, like, nostalgia for the 90s crap as well. It's just fucking flooded everywhere. And yeah, there's this kind
And that's
of.
what Swazi done. The culture of nostalgia. This is not coming out of nowhere. The bourgeoisie is doing this for a reason. There's a particular motivation. It reflects where imperialism is at. It's in decay. It's in crisis. And they are bringing back the nostalgia trope through the TV, through the culture, through the media, in order for people to reminisce on the good times, when all it does, it just represents like where imperialism was at when the 80s was going on, when the 90s and the 70s was going on. That's really what it is. I mean, iCarly came out in 2007. What do you think was going on in 2007? Under Bush. So these are not separate. We are materialists, and we understand that, you know, the content of these shows are not separate from the development of class society when it's in crisis. It's a reflection.
Yeah, it's the base affecting the superstructure and vice versa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of these shows have their ideological component too, regardless if the, whoever produces them says that they're not. There isn't really a neutrality. That doesn't really exist. And you can't view a lot of this stuff in the abstract. And I mean, part of it too, I just noticed as well, is like, the labor aristocracy is not even just a class, honestly. That is, of course, the development and the conception we know of it
Right.
materially in the beginning of Marxism and in the rise of imperialism. But we're honest with ourselves as well. It's also become ideological. It,
Ideological,
mhm,
cultural, political, right? You
yeah,
know, it's beyond just occupation.
yeah.
It's everything else that, comes together as a whole for one to be considered a labor aristocrat.
And it's what Lenin called the worker turned bourgeois.
Yeah.
And Lenin didn't just say the labor aristocracy once or twice. No, it's been a lot more than that. And since 1905, he publicly talked about it, like, in his own manner, his own theory. So, like, that's pretty significant. 1905. And he was talking about Russia too, actually. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he even says that the labor aristocracy will be something we're gonna have to deal with into socialism. So, bad news for all those like CPUSA revisionists, and unfortunately, what's happened is people have adopted the CPUSA trot position where they think the LA doesn't exist. And like on this stream, I'm gonna say it here. I don't want to hear people say that like the middle class doesn't exist anymore. That is revisionist hogwash. That is just first world delusion. It is just completely baffling that anybody could say that unironically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the middle class people anymore, you know. After middle class, that's how it goes. And
You
you
might be
know,
cutting out a little bit, just to let you know.
oh, then, uh, well, uh, internet, intercontinental connections. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It
Ah,
happens.
ah, ah.
You sound better.
Yeah, now it's 200. Yeah, sorry, Discord heard me complaining and it fixed it. Don't worry, I have contacts. But yeah, I've said that. Oh, what did I say? What were we talking? If there is middle class people here, there's middle class people there. You know, just because everyone has less money doesn't mean that there's no middle class. Like, I like that's not. It's just an attempt to try to take away blame to the middle class for supporting capitalism. You know, it's saying, "Oh, I'm just as proletariat as you are."
Yeah.
No, 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 like no. And I say, look, I say that as a middle class person, okay? I'm one of the good ones. But like, it's just that the middle class exists. Like, come on, like it will be dumb that it will just all of the sudden cease to exist because I don't know, like egg prices go up, I guess. Like, and the middle class has as much blame, if not more, than the upper class because of our current situation. Because the first defenders of capitalism have always been the middle class. So it's like.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Especially in America.
Yeah.
It's and it's one of those things too where the contradictions of capital and imperialism has what's it called? I mean, yeah, it's created even more and more of this petty bourgeois ideology, labor aristocrat ideology too. Yeah, they're both in a contradictory class, of course. And now the houses are basically just a bunch of assets as well. And I mean, you just see how things have developed under the neoliberal / post-neoliberal era we're entering. And it's yeah, the middle class still exists. It does. And of course it's more than just like the shopkeepers and the petty bourgeois shop owners. It's a little bit more than just that. Unfortunately, it comes in different shapes now. And there's petty bourgeois people that come from bourgeois backgrounds originally and stuff like that. Former
You
LA
have landlords.
Landlords too. Yeah, you even have petty bourgeois landlords.
Landlords?
Yeah. There's generational wealth that plays into some of this as well, and there's situations where like petty bourgeois landlords will like fucking not have their families live there anymore and tell them to go elsewhere, and they just become like, look at the Airbnb app. Like, that's a fucking good example of that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're in 2025 and some people haven't clicked that when it comes to things like food, water, housing, it's not a problem of if we have them, it's a problem of distribution of those things, Like, we have enough houses to house everyone, we have enough food to feed everyone, we have enough water to water everyone. But it's like it's not it's not that the problem if we have them or not. The problem is how we distribute it amongst our current society. Because if you have no money, you don't matter. Then no one matters. Money does, Yes? Yeah. And it's like people matter. We're humans. We are people, Animals matter too, Plants do as well. The planet matters. Money is like one of those things that we invented just to organize power, I suppose. More skilled people can explain that better than me. I'm just a silly rat. But, it's like, the world matters. And what capitalism does, it's not to give you freedom and individuality and free everyone. It does quite the opposite, in fact. It takes the inherent value of life away Because if you don't have monetary value, if you don't bring monetary value, you don't matter. You're a void. You might as well not exist, and the system will run better sometimes in their eyes, right? And that's not how that works. Just because someone doesn't have a job or house or anything like that, it doesn't make them worth any less than someone who does. They're people. Because you know what? If someone who now is, say we grab Elon Musk and we replace him with a homeless person. Challenge, Elon Musk lives as a homeless person for 100 days. He doesn't last one. It's like, if billionaires, if millionaires, if the middle class and so on are defined by their wealth, then no, they do not have any value. Inherently, what has value is their wealth, you know? And people have value. Life has value. Like, we shouldn't just discriminate what's a human and what's not because they have or don't have money, you know? Like, crazy idea. Let's not do that, you know? But some people, like, for example, when they, in these recent weeks with the whole Mamdani thing, right? There were a lot of people of being like, oh, you're fetishizing the lumpen. What?
Oh God!
I listen to lumpen people. All of a sudden, I'm fetishizing them. I'm sexualizing them. Like, oh, shut the fuck up! I'm listening to them. I'm listening to people. Grow up.
Yeah, it's a problem with the sort of petty bourgeois and opportunistic elements of the left. It's like, oh, I mean, whenever they see a gang of racists, they just assume that they call them rednecks. Or stupid council estate trash. You know, or they can't get a job. Or they need to get a job. Excuse me. That kind of talk.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's still this same idea as, oh, you know, I'm better than you because I'm a slave to the system and I'm better than you because I make money to make some billionaire rich. Well, whoopie-doo, good for you. You little catamite, fuck off. You know.
Yeah, some revisionists, I've seen them do that now. Even people in the DSA, they're like, oh, you gotta get a job, and, you know, all y'all are just scamming, and all the anti-mutual aid kind of rhetoric.
You get some that do fetishize the lumpen. They seem to think that people are more, I mean, I've seen that in some sort of like revisionist ML groups in the UK that like they seem to prefer to have unemployed people in to make them look more proletarian. There's still these middle class fucking college professors pulling all the strings, but it makes them only unemployed people easier to demand more favors of because they don't have a job getting in the way of their time. That's another extreme that's equally as crass.
Yeah.
But there's still this kind of like, get a job, you worthless piece of shit, and so on. It's crass and disgusting in the extreme. Well, they're like two sides of the same coin, if you will, you know?
Yeah, they are. They
actually do fetishize them to lumpens. Really, when you think about it.
Yeah, and sometimes sometimes they just want to imitate like the lumpen aristocracy or the lumpen PB, which is another problem.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, big time.
I mean, it reminds me of what now that people started calling everyone an ultra, and it's like, you know, there are people who would actually fetishize the lumpen, right? But now because you listen to the lumpen, you're fetishizing them. That's a bit extreme, and now that's if those terminology claim the general public, right? You know, the word changes meaning. Language. I hate that. But that's how it works, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really disgusting, and really with this like Mondani shit, it's really coming out, the rottenness of the left. They were already abandoning Palestine, like I said earlier, back in October, but like now it's just like this is why we're pushing back hard right now to wake people up, to get a stronger message, and I mean point out and criticize the rottenness here because it's bad. I mean, really, the world should not be looking at the American left for like some kind of like carbon copy. Like if you're like from Canada or something, like do not listen to the revisionist left out here at all. Like please, like do yourselves a favor and like stop supporting Mark Carney and the fucking Liberal Party up there in Canada. And oh God.
Yeah.
I just don't live in Canada to know like all the ins and outs, even though I talked to one or two people from there. But it's I know that the American culture is very much saturated the Canadian space as it is today. And New York is not far away from Canada as well and all that. And because I've been by Niagara Falls one time, and it's just like I'm disgusted too by like the middle class behavior. I saw some DSA. I saw some like kind of like neoliberal DSA type whatever um, say that like, oh well, there's no other alternative to the billionaire politics but us white middle class activists, and the non-white people just don't have the material stability to have this kind of organization. And I was literally so flabbergasted.
That is a fucking lie. That is a lie. That is a lie, and they know it's a lie.
I mean, I think Luigi gave us like about 1 million reasons why that's a lie,
Yeah.
Like, that's a fucking lie.
Yeah.
Liar!
Yeah.
And because of all of these problems, right? People are staying away, are stopped talking about Palestine. They stopped talking about climate change. That's it's very bad right now. That's still a thing. It's like so distracting, and I know that social media has a big grip on everyone, but everyone should try to work against it. Being complacent doesn't help. And the American left is like it's so rotten. Like wherever anything good pops up, suddenly it's ultra. They die. They help the government hunt them like animals. And then when you have figures like Bernie Sanders or nowadays Mamdani, all of a sudden they're like the pinnacle of American communism. We have Maoism in New York, guys. Get ready for it. It's coming.
It's like it's like they want. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you there. Sorry, yeah. It's like the Trumpites are all the MAGA crowd are saying, oh, communists are taking over, so they go, yeah, he must be a communist, so let's all support him. It's as if they want, and they're saying, oh, he's gonna affect Trump, and he's affected Trump, and it's just bullshit. Do you know what I mean? It's like these patsocks who want to be mustache twirling Hollywood villains or something. They seem to think, they think that dressing up in some kind of stern suit and tie, they're going to like scratch their faces to give themselves scars so they look exactly like Hollywood. You know what I mean? It's that kind of bullshit. You're playing up to bourgeois media and bourgeois politicians' games.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't.
Yeah,
Caricatures.
It reminds me of the fetishization of the Soviet Union and shit, and commentaries of like, oh, face the wall, and shit like that. It's so aggravating.
Shite.
Yeah, I agree with you, Red Finian. It's a big problem, and I also see that like, You know, before when Mondani won, they were like, "Oh, look how mad MAGA is! Look how mad the Zionist libs are, and all this." And then once like Mondani meets with Trump, it's like, "Oh, look, Mondani did it!" You know, blah blah blah. Look at him smiling, blah blah blah, and
Oh
He
God.
mocked him.
and yeah, the I know that the White Hammer ACP is now like trying to pretend that they weren't pushing for Trump, and they're kind of jealous
Oh.
about DSA. But then DSA and all them and the Marxist revisionists inside there, they're using that as an excuse to double down on this
Yeah.
DSA blue MAGA
Yeah.
shit.
Oh. Yeah.
Mechanical
Progressive fascism.
revisionists playing off of each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the UK left, isn't it? It's just like a Trotskyist hive of social democracy. Even the anarchists don't say it like that. And not all, but most of them, the ones I see, they're just disgruntled trots who left the Socialist Worker Party. I mean, I don't know. I get very abundant about the British left.
Yeah,
They kind of shat on Ireland in the way that the US left is shat on Palestine. They're both shat on.
yeah, and I noticed that some of the Labour people have defected to the Green Party of the UK. But yeah.
UKIP, did you say?
Oh no, the Green Party version in the UK.
Oh, right. I thought it cut out and I thought you said UKIP. But no, you're the UK Green Party. Yeah, I mean, the Green Party do talk a lot of very pleasant rhetoric by the standards of parliamentary politics in the United Kingdom. But that's not saying very much. I mean, it really isn't. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's this crowd that haven't even got a fucking name yet. They're calling themselves Your Party as a kind of talk about. It's a thing with the left here. They've got this thing. I think the US is be as bland and as boring as you possibly can be, and I think this is why the PATSOCs go towards this kind of crypto-fascist crap, because it is frustrating seeing this kind of liberal sock dem thing. They all just want to be corduroy-wearing, tree-hugging hippies, you know. And I don't want to read down to it. It sounds crass to put it that way, but that's what they are. They're be as bland and as non-confrontational as we can be, and I'm thinking, mate, the fascists are getting violent and armed. You can't sit around throwing leaflets at them thinking they'll go away. I mean, I'm not suggesting you go around and start holding machine guns in the UK. I mean, that's not feasible at the minute, but you need to get yourself, you know.
Yeah.
They've got parties that are called Your Party. I mean, why don't you just call it something like the People's Revolutionary Party or something, or is revolutionary too confrontational for them? I mean, for fuck's sake.
Left Party, you know.
Left Party, yeah.
Yeah.
But Your Party, it's like so... bland and kind of like, it doesn't say anything too progressive or too radical. You know, it's such a fucking.
It's probably going to cost them votes. That's what I think is going to happen, because people are going to be like, "What's your party?" And they might just vote Green.
So I think that's why a lot of them are defecting to the Greens. Plus, I think there's been a couple of like. I haven't been keeping too much up on it, but I've seen a few like leftist YouTubers in the UK talking about them, saying there was a problem internally. There was like, I think it was like Zara Sultana and Jeremy Corbyn had some disagreement, but there was some bloke there who I think was a landlord or something like that. He was petty bourgeois, and he was I think he decided, oh, hang on, this is too radical for me, and he was allowed to be platformed and stay on in the party. I think that's one of the problems that the party happened. I don't remember exactly. I thought, Jesus.
Yeah, I think I heard about that. I know that the Labour Party have their own like petty bourgeois landlords they defend.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, they have a bloody Zionist lobby.
Yeah.
You know, the Labour Party's always had Jewish sections, which were basically just Zionist lobbies. That's why, I mean, the black sections, they wanted to bring that in, and they were stamped on. Initially, I thought that was a problem, because I thought it was more segregation when I was a young kid and I didn't know any better. I mean, the Labour Party's just a dead loss anyway. But I thought, hang on, the reason people were wanting black sections in the Labour Party was because there was already Jewish sections and other, you know, groups like that. And I thought, hang on a minute. But I think that's the idea, that they have it like, it's all inclusive. We have Zionists and pro-Palestinian people, and we're all on united front kind of thing. If you're siding with fucking Zionists, you're just a joke. You're a disgrace and a joke. Yeah.
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 100%.
No leftist movement should be respected if they support Zionism.
No, not at all. No.
It's like NAS balls and shit like that.
Yes. Well, that's the Pat socks basically are Nazballs, aren't they? I mean, they're when you scratch the surface, so to speak.
Yeah, and centrism is also at fault over all of this.
Yeah.
Because I'm listening, right? And I'm thinking of what happens here. What we have here is we have the Peronist Party. Right now, I forget what acronym they have. I apologize. But they have a kind of united group that incorporates all of their Peronist/leftist groups that support them. The Peronists, right? And the problem with being a centrist and not being like, don't having a strong voice when talking about humanitarian issues such as genocide, human rights, and all of that, is that centrism leads to the right. Because the right isn't shy about shouting for mass genocide and stuff like that. They aren't shy about that. Maybe past century after World War II, because they had like a bad public relationship. But, you know, they can just say, oh no, I don't like Hitler, and then start just say the same shit, which is what they did. And it's like, you can't, being a centrist doesn't work, because it's like inherently doesn't work, because there's no middle ground when it comes to human rights. You can't be, oh, I'm just slightly in favor of human rights. It's just so dumb, because being a little in favor of human rights is just not being in favor of them. Like, you either have all human rights or none, you know? And just being shy. I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to offend my Zionist lobby. Like, that's just that's just being a fascist, you know? Like, if you're trying to cater to Zionism, you're being a Zionist. It's just simple. There's no middle ground with that. That's just catering to fascism. Like, it's not even to any kind of like utter leftist group or whatever. It's just catering to fascism, you know? It's just dumb that in 2025 people haven't realized that yet. And here it bothers me in particular, because here Peronism is very predominant. And whilst I prefer it over fucking whatever the fuck the incestuous fucking Zionist guys in power like, you know, oh, would you rather have the corrupt lying fucks, or would you rather have Satan and his sister wife? Oh, maybe I think I would prefer the corrupt guys. But, you know, it's like, it's still shit. You know, it's still centrist shit. Peronism is just centrist stuff. Because even they say it, Peronism is a movement. It's not a party or an ideology. It's a movement, because they are centrists. They go wherever the fucking waters flow. And even Peron did that. You know, he was all like, oh, I'm the first worker. I bring the new wing. I'm so special. And then the moment the US came knocking, he was like, yeah, I hate communism, and please kill my leftist supporters, guys.
Didn't Peron, like, he was rather pally with Hitler and Mussolini as well, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, Peron, the reason why Peron became so popular is because he was sent along with a military delegation to Europe to talk with fascists. Essentially, he went in tourism to Italy, had a chat with Mussolini. He had an interview with Francisco Franco.
Wow.
The very leftist guy, everyone. And
his wife as well
went there. Like, his future wife went there. So dumb. very leftist figure, everyone. I love communist Peronism. Like, no.
AOC is a fan of Perón, by the way. Both of them.
Who?
AOC.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I already say that Mamdani is Peronism with American characteristics. I joke about it, but it's not like a joke. It's like a serious thing.
I'm saying that is a color revolution.
Oh, but there was a DSA person I saw that they were like, yeah, we're having this is Peronism, but they said it like it's a good thing.
Kill me now. Like, I get it that Peronists got a lot of points with Christina Kirchner, but come on, don't fall for that. Like, Peronism is centrism, right? It sounds like I'm talking about centrism. It's centrism as in like in the middle, right? And it doesn't work because centrism relies on both sides pulling on each other. It doesn't work, first of all, because it's contradictory. Like, left and right just are opposites, and you can just be in the middle of that, Oh, I support human rights a little bit. Like, no, that's not good. Fence sitting. But when it comes to our current dynamics in government, if the only pull there is from the right, then you are moving the center to the right. That's why the American left is so fascist. Okay? Like, so blatantly fascist in so many ways because American has been so centrist for too long that, there is no actual leftist movement pushing to the left. And it's very bad.
They don't study history enough, really. I mean, they don't learn from the bloody lessons of 1919 when wasn't Kautsky. I forgot the name of the guy that sent in the bloody Freikorps to put down the Spartacus, and then Karl Liebknecht and Rosa Luxemburg were both executed by the bastards.
Yeah. Like,
what was it?
I
can never remember the guy's name. A Social Democrat that gave the green light to do that. And that's supposedly the left. And they still keep doing the same thing because they don't know about that or they don't care.
Yeah, like I said that before, that we have centuries of history showing that these things are a bad thing. And people just don't care. Americans in particular don't care because of American exceptionalism too. So
there's that as well, yeah. I mean, another thing is the history gets distorted as well. It's like you talk about human rights. I mean, the concept gets so twisted that they use that as a kind of pink washing thing, or use it for the real actual color revolution is not the kind of thing that Dengis and Patsocks accuse any protest in China or Iran as being. I mean, an actual. It's worse. It's like ultra now. They're distorting it, and it becomes so overused. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like.
Like democratic socialism. What do you mean? I think socialism is democratic by its very fucking definition, Sunshine. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's their
oranges.
Yeah, that's their new that's their new cop out label where like they think it's a gotcha if they say, "Oh, I'm not a sock them, I'm just a dem sock."
I tell you, man, the British left are the worst for that. They go, "Oh well, democratic socialism is just keeping the bourgeoisie in check." Some fuckhead said to me once on a social media platform I won't name. And he said, anything else is just communism. And I went, oh my, where do I start with this fool? I think I've had this rant at you before. I said, somebody else just chimed in with, because I use very working class colloquial expressions. I was told I had dreadful grammar and I need to learn to read before commenting. I said, go fuck yourself, you middle class. This is supposed to be like the radical British left. That was another one said that, but I thought, communism. I said no. Communism is a desired stateless class of society that communists want. It's not when the government does even more than what you call democratic socialism. It does, reforming capitalism. But you're dealing with people who are so indoctrinated into that mindset. A lot of them, they get old, they get to their 40s, and they're stuck in that rigid mindset that that's what they learned and that's how it is, and that's the end of it. That's why people get old.
Yeah, some people grow up, but they don't grow old.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's getting crazy now because some of them are younger than me. It's fucking crazy, so it is.
But it's like, I don't know. It's so disappointing, might be the word. I mean, I already get frustrated when I have to go to like adults, because I'm 22, right? I am technically an adult, but I'm still very young, right? But I have to go to people like who are almost double my age to explain them basic things. And it is true that a lot of people view socialism as government does stuff. And it's like, that's not how it works. No one said that's how it works except the right. And people listen to socialism is that. So
again, it's tailing the capitalist thing and then saying you can just reform it from within first world imperial countries. I say first worldist attitude.
Yeah, I mean, my boss today are in the radio. It aggravated me so much. She said a story about Nelson Mandela, right? And she in particular said a quote of like, how am I meant to rebuild things if I just tear them down? And it's in reference to the U.S., right? And it's a position against taking action against fascism, right? And it's such a bad quote to do, especially nowadays, because it's like you can't, when the structure is rotten, when the fundamental problem of the structure of the society is so ingrained with the society, you have to tear it down. Okay, we can reform capitalism because capitalism won't let itself be reformed into socialism because it's like contradictory. You can't just do that, It's like, I don't know. It sounds basic. You can't just make capitalism kill itself in that way, And like now someone's gonna be like, well, capitalism is gonna end itself, so. But I'm on about reformism, right? You can't reform out of capitalism because that's not what capitalism wants. On that note, when fascists here, for example, are fucking up the government and people say the government doesn't work, it technically does, but it doesn't work for us. It never did for us. That's the thing. If the government is fucking up the economy and the solutions are obvious, it's because it doesn't want those solutions, because it's not what they want. Fascism doesn't want to help the people, it wants to help capitalists, because capitalism is a capitalist-based system.
Yeah, the system is not broken, it's working perfectly. A lot of people say that because the term is used all the time. Yeah. And by the way, thanks to Jesse, I couldn't remember the guy's name, Jesse else in the chat, Ebert. The SOCDEM guy who sent in the Freikorps, Friedrich Ebert.
Yeah.
Just to remind me, I couldn't remember the guy's name, so yeah, thanks for that.
Yet no send opposed.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's crazy. I just saw a report that the Gestapo is stopping all these trucks in New York, asking for passport checks or whatever. And like, this is the stuff we're up against every day out here in America now. Gestapo everywhere, and they're coming to New York City too. And I don't want to hear excuses for Mondani and all this shit.
Yeah. They're more like the brown shirts than the actual Gestapo, or more like the kind of, but they are, yeah.
I mean, I personally think that maybe it's because Mamdani catered to trans people. That's the problem. Guys, ignore the Zionists in the government. Maybe the problem was trans people all along. That's what's gonna start to happen. I bet 20 pesos on it.
There are
like 2 cents.
There are some of these DSA types doing like class reductionism, like, he won purely on, on free buses, and it just makes you wonder like how many more people he's gonna throw under the bus soon.
Yeah.
It's trans people being thrown under the bus. Yeah, but that seems to be the thing with the left anyway. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is. I hadn't paid attention to Mount. I don't pay that much attention to. Whatever.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Which I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Something that I will give to Peronists here is that their movement is very ingrained in protecting the rights of the disabled and trans people. I will give that to them. Maybe I'm wrong. Someone who's more aware of all that's going on actively, like not just in general, is going to tell me, JP, you're wrong, and that's fine. But as far as I've seen, Peronism as a whole has been currently, has been more in support of trans people and the disabled and Palestine and all of that.
I'm surprised
even like the most leftist wing of Peronism, they sent people in the flotilla a few months ago, which it ain't enough, and it's a little too late. But one is more than zero. At least I will give them that. But
Oh yeah, credit where it's due, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but still, that's not far enough. I will say that.
No.
It's great. It's not enough.
A lot of these crowds, they either just pander to identity reductionism, or they completely throw them under the bush and do the class reduction. It seems to, there's nobody wants to sort of say, well, they're both relevant. It's either class or identity. It's never.
I think they are ingrained with one another.
Yeah.
Because it's like racist. As long as racism, homophobia, transphobia, and all of that is a tool that the class system uses against the people, then that's like a problem of the movement.
Yeah.
So long as it's a tool used against the people, it's a problem that we have.
Well, class reductionism becomes kind of identitarian anyways. It becomes about, we're working class, we don't have any time for that quote-unquote woke nonsense, as they call it. And it's like, that's an identity. That's clinging to some bullshit notion of what it means to be class.
We're a serious movement composed by workers, and we have no time for your trans woke agenda. We're just serious about this.
Well, that's kind of basically that's. I mean, this is where they talk about. It's not bloody the far left that do these what they call horseshoe theory wrap around effect crap. It's these bloody sock dems that do it. I mean, it's well known. Was it Hitler or one of them said, we were all sock dems once. They were all social democrats at one point.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the far right were. I mean, quite a few of them are Christian Democrat, conservative types as well.
I mean,
there's a notable chunk of them.
Mussolini was kicked from the Socialist Party too.
Yeah. Mosley was a backbench Labour MP, or the beginnings of what became the Labour Party.
I think what Gara says that the sock dems are like the progressive wing of fascism.
So a friend of mine was saying that it's not really fascism; it's just authoritarian capitalism that's on the way. I thought, well, it's kind of. Well, he reckons that fascism is they haven't changed the constitution. It's quite fascist. It's getting into semantics, though. I think
When
it's become fascism, and
Trump doesn't have a mustache, so he's not a fascist. Mamdani isn't white, so he can be a fascist.
Well, I think it's you could argue that there's something well, is it how far does it go before it becomes fascism? But if you're going to say social democracy is a soft end of fascism, you might as well just call it all.
It's like
semantics here. It's like democratic socialism as opposed to totalitarian authoritarian socialism, which is all communism. And
well, where it is that we're also we're being gaslit by people who don't want to even acknowledge its existence, and then if we sacrifice the term social fascism, which is really still kind of a moderate label for what we're talking about here, then we can never criticize the neoliberals ever, because effectively, look, the Sockdems and DSA and all that, and the revisionist Marxists who think they're really just still Sockdems. they're not that different from the neoliberals. They just have a few baby steps and
Yeah.
appearance differences. And then, ultimately, Mandani is serving that dying neoliberal class as well. And, you know, and we see with the Labor Party how they've become fascist and they're, you know, and I mean, it's not a coincidence that the DSA is also going this route. And, and the Democrats are not only throwing trans people under the bus, I mean, immigrants under the bus. They're running anti-choice candidates now because it's all about winning. So, women's
I'm seeing that
rights.
here as well.
Whoops.
I'm seeing like Trotskyist groups, supposedly Marxist Trotskyist, they're basically Trots, saying, we can't exclude the TERFs, we just got to stop the hate. Just can't we all get along? No, fuck off. We fucking cannot just get along.
Yeah, I mean, it's like people see, in the US, for example, people see any victory against the Republicans in particular as a victory of the proletariat. And it's like, if you become a fascist to defeat a fascist, the number of fascists is just gone up.
Oh, God. And they accuse the bloody Marxists of being fascist or Antifa. I mean, that's more of a right-wing thing, but they'll snuggle up next to that one. Oh, Antifa's too violent, too extreme. They accuse like the bloody Soviet anti-revisionist element of the Soviets or the Maoist China of being the real fascists because they used brute force to put down fucking opportunist trends and fascists. Oh dear, what a shame.
Crazy stuff. So, the situation is really bad, and to any American viewers and friends beyond the continent, my best advice is that you get out of there. It sucks, but I'd say that, especially if you're a minority, right? If you're a minority of any kind, seek a way out, or have it ready. At least have it ready, because it's not a safe place. The US has never been like a safe haven in general, but like, with the fucking ICE going around kidnapping people, and even people who aren't even in ICE using this to kidnap more people. And fascists don't get any issues, they don't get any barks. If you're a leftist, you're a violent dog and you need to be shot. If you're a Democrat, you deserve to be shot. And it's like Democrats aren't even communists, imagine. So, get out. Or organize to make safe places to help people get out of there. But the US is not a safe place at all. Now more than ever. I'm going to have people, because people are going to be like, oh, the US actually was never safe, so shut up, JP. But it's like, it's not, people should be running away.
Liberals going on about their safe spaces.
Yeah, we need
only they're entitled to them sort of thing. It's like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah. I mean, part of it too is like before the Mamdani Trump meeting, it was like the Dingus doing gymnastics for China, and even some of the Dingus now are doing gymnastics for both China and Mamdani, because
it's weird with Dingus actually.
Yeah, and I mean, and at the end of the day, a lot of these Dingus, even the FRSO, they're just, they also have the same sock them problem, unless you're one of those right-wing chauvinistic ACP style dingus, basically. And it's just weird, and it's like they're making the same excuses they do for Mandani for China. And to be fair, there are sockdoms in America who do like China now more than like Norway or whatever, and you even see that with Hassan Piker, who's like, he's like spending 50,000 yuan on like horse bet races. And I'm like, wow, that's very socialist. I'm glad to know that China has horse
Big
racing.
communist behavior.
Horse race betting.
Revolutionary horse betting.
The DPRK
But it's like in China, it's also the case of like, China is supporting Israel and other genocides as well. They're not like, they're being nice to everyone, guys. Don't worry about it. It's China is as much as at fault of all of this as the US. Maybe not as much, right? Because the US is it's there, right? The US is there literally. But China is as responsible, not just because of supporting it directly, but also not stopping it, because China will have it doesn't have the productive forces yet, guys. Let's just wait until 2050. We're halfway there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I saw Dangus say like, "Oh, it doesn't matter that China trades with Israel. Trade doesn't matter." And I'm like, "Yes, it does, because like, have you heard of BDS? Like, do these people remember how South Africa fell? Like, we had to get the world to start boycotting those apartheid motherfuckers."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like isn't Israel economically just dependent on selling settlements anyways? Like they depend on that shit practically, and U.S. funds.
There's sadly other stuff where like the comprador countries have been like selling the pipelines and technology and all this crap, and that's how they get the imperialist compradors on board, and the Haifa port, which is really belongs to Palestine. I should remind people. It's China owns like half of it. The Zionists sold them like half or whatever, so that they can improve the port, which is going to be used to import weapons and all that. It is being used, and it's just like,
guys,
this is reality.
China is just developing the port for the Palestinians when they come back.
Oh, God.
They're just holding it for them. Don't worry about it. Oh my God.
And apparently, the company that's gonna get the contract to fix up the apartheid electric, because like one of the plants got hit by the resistance, the one of the electric plants or whatever, and it's like it would cost them $2 billion. So apparently, who won the bid was some like Chinese company, and it's like, wow. It's like China doesn't need that money. China doesn't need it.
Hello.
Again.
Yeah, it's and it's just like it's just very interesting to see how there is a split amongst the Dangas, even on the Mandani stuff. It's insane. Like it's really shown how bad the American left is. It's shown that the whole multipolarity nonsense literally just means nothing. It means
if you say that
nothing.
though, you're a Trotskyist and a color revolutionist or some shit like that. Yeah.
You're being too much of an ultra. Slow down.
You're an ultra, yeah. Western chauvinist ultras. Like, most of them are Western too, by the way, with more than a few chauvinist tendencies.
Yeah.
We should do like BRG and do a poll asking if we are going too far right, because this is too far right, guys. Do you think I've gone too far right?
Oh, God. I swear, like, literally, fucking Winston, Black Revisionist Guard, like, he's always, every day, he's making these fucking shit takes.
Sorry, that makes me laugh.
Yeah, and he's making these shit takes, and he's one of the revisionists on the forefront of this reformist shit. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and only now he started to be like, guys, maybe he's not that good. It's like, guys, maybe no one warned me, but maybe I was wrong, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe I did a little oopsie, a little haha, a little hee. I just bullied everyone. I just bullied everyone into shutting up, and I supported a blatant Zionist that everyone told me was a Zionist. Oopsie. I just, guys,
It's just it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bull.
A little mistake, a little silly, a little haha. Anyone could have fell for it. No.
Like, sorry, y'all.
Actually, not.
I was just joking. You know, like, I was just trying to play along with the moment, and you know, it was on me. You know, I'm not being serious of what I said. I didn't mean to make it seem as if I was seriously being ageist and elderist to a 1-year-old Irish woman who, you know, I racialized as white to shut down any critique of me.
Oh God.
You know,
it was a test. It was a test to see if they will notice. You know, it was a test. He was testing everyone.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was so disgusted when BRG was doing that misogynistic ageism shit at Kala. I was so disgusted.
Yeah. My age. It was my age.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm 31 years old."
Christopher, you ain't that. Shut up.
You can call a person of color fascist. That's just wrong. Please don't do it.
Oh God.
Like racialism stuff needs to stop. Like the racialist stuff needs to stop.
Yeah.
Like.
Totally.
Yeah.
Y'all don't do goddamn much right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and Winston was just all over the place at his convenience. Like he would be like, "Oh, but Mandani's a Muslim. You can't call him a Zionist, you ultra," you know, on his stream.
Oh, that's the same shit that, like, the whole Ukraine war is another can of worms anyway, but they say that about it. Call out the Kiev NATO puppet regime, you're automatic. Point out the Nazis among them. They go, Zelensky's Jewish, how can they be?
Yeah.
Yeah, racialism is their tool.
Yeah. You just tell them about the Jewish capos and the Zionists who collaborated with the Nazis to get the state of Israel set up, and that blows their little minds, or they just scream abuse at you saying,
Yeah, actually read Ghassan Kanafani's book and then talk to me.
Yeah.
Let's read Zionist literature by Ghassan Kanafani. Maybe that'll shut y'all asses up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a quick bait.
Yeah, and you know, Winston would also be doing the thing on stream where if a white Muslim was supporting Mandani, he'd like praise them. But then when he got backlash from Muslims in general on, you know, on the other sites, all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, these white Muslims, they really think they're this and blah blah blah."
Oh, they convert to Muslim and they think they know.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
It's like so so bad. And especially bad in his particular case. It's very bad because of his background. Like, he knows what he's doing in more than one way, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it's already bad to support fascism, but if you know everything that he knows, it's double bad, you know? It's bad squared. And just backtracking and being like, okay guys, I'm back. I just did a little upsie. Like, that's not, I don't think no one's falling for that.
I'm not falling, come on, Christopher. We saw what we saw. The internet is forever. I don't know if you know that. Still at this point at your grown fucking age, but it is forever. And one thing that I've learned from my middle school education is to keep receipts. And we're not going to go around and act like you did not do all of that. And you're still doubling down on Zionists.
Yeah.
No wonder why Comrade on that live stream the night of the election clocked you for being spiritually Israeli. Okay? Because you are.
Yeah. Yeah, and I told BRG that he is the next Van Jones, and like he basically tweeted at me. He literally tweeted at me on the quote tweet like, "Oh, you see, look at them. They're not ready to take power." Like,
Me? 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 Oh, you ain't
Didn't put a suit and tie on and talk the talk. That's what they mean.
yeah,
like, oh, I'm not ready to seize power. Okay, I'm ready to organize to seize power more than you. And that's
if you disagree, why don't you take power? Why don't you do the revolution? Huh? You can't. It's like talking to a children. Oh my god. That's just a children. That's just a child being angry because they get the. Oh, fine. Why do you let me right now?
yeah. It's
immature. It's immature. That's face. I'm sure.
Yeah, and he's been in the forefront. Like he's got like what 23K followers, and on his bio on Twitter as well, he's BRG has the thing of like DSA's favorite Maoist and all this shit, and he's got the red book and all that, and the upside down red triangle, and it's like take that off.
It don't mean shit to me.
Yeah.
Like if y'all are defending Zionism, take the Palestinian flag off, take the red book off, take the upside down triangle off too. Take it off.
Y'all don't believe any of it, and that's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
That's the British left here. They had like Red Wedge, which was like a it was a kind of musical concert of 80s to support. I mean, Red Wedge in the White Terror was what that was referring to, but they hijacked that one.
Oh god.
And that's what they do. That was like 40 years ago when I was a kid. I remember it. I didn't know what Red Wedge meant at the time, but Red Wedge in the White Terror. By the way, let's support the Labour Party, who then supports fascism abroad. Yeah, that didn't age well.
Right, and the worst part about one of like BRG's last tweets I saw was like when he's trying to backpedal a little bit, he's doing his damage control like the petty bourgeois. I told him like, hey, don't just blame this on right wing DSA. Your caucus, and the majority of your caucus, and you yourself told people to double down on this Zionist shit. You are just as responsible as the right wing DSA. And I posted like the meme, the fell for it again, and all that. And of course, he ended up blocking me like a coward.
What a surprise!
Coward.
Yeah.
Coward.
You can be a communist if you can handle criticism, especially on these things. Yeah. It's like you can be if you start to support Zionism at any point, that's like a call of concern, right? But if you can't even handle any kind of criticism from comrades, it's already like a very bad sign. It's very bad.
Yeah, and he's doing the crap of like, oh, you gotta be loyal to DSA, you gotta be loyal to the party, and you
have to be loyalty to the people, not to the party.
Exactly.
That's the thing. We're not loyal. We're not loyal to a party because we hit the subscribe button on July or something like that. We are loyal to the people, to our principles, because that's communism. It's not a party. It's not communism. Isn't just like the Bolshevik party or X or Y. It's the principles. It's the people.
The masses. Are we forgetting about the masses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like history, or is it just a misnomer to you?
Yeah, and he was pushing the thing the hardest, where like, oh, you can't criticize DSA until you come join us.
And you literally sound like Bob Avakian.
Yeah, it was cult as shit. It's cult.
Garbage, trash, garbage.
That's why I said to him, like, you are the next Zionist Van Jones. Because Van Jones literally had his bodyguards beat up a Palestine protester when he got his shit called out. And he was fucking making disgusting jokes about people starving in Palestine. Fuck Van Jones.
The Van Jones?
Yeah, the CNN fake progressive who supported Trump's bombing of Iran. He's one of those post-Maoists from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, the college Maoist to bourgeois musician or commentator pipeline needs to be studied, I feel.
Yeah, there's actually a clip of him. Yeah, there's actually a clip of Van Jones in the 90s where he's protesting in 93, and he's got his hair and he's like screaming at the mic, and at some point he gets mad and he's like if we can't stand up against this genocide now, then what the fuck are we? We may as well cut our hair and put some suit on and call it a day. Well, he actually did it, so
self-prophesized.
I
didn't know about that about Mamdani. He actually did that back in the day, did he? I didn't know him until recently. I don't remember.
Oh, Van Jones, yeah.
Oh, Van Jones, sorry, I got lost. The ADHD kicked in, sorry.
No worries. They're almost the same anyways, because Van Jones is like the Zionist Bernie commentator for CNN, and he did interview Mamdani at some point.
It's just crazy. It's like,
right?
It's so bad to have all of that knowledge and those experiences behind you and still take these choices. It's like principles are just a trading card for some people. Yeah. And it's like, no, they're not. And you know, everyone is vulnerable to stuff, right? It's not like we're in a bubble and we can just be like the same forever, right? Change is a constant thing. But I feel like there's a bit of like a fundamental issue that allows for this change, like there needs to be like a build up into it. And, it's not good. Opportunism is a very bad thing, and it's very common within the middle class. Because seeking comfort is the main goal of the middle class. And sometimes if you like to claim to be a communist, it comforts you because you think you're a good person, and then sometimes you're already comfy enough and you just want to sit down, so you don't care about all that communist nonsense. And that's very scummy behavior. But yeah, and it's so interesting also that we've had records of people like Lenin all the way back over a century ago, talking about similar issues to today. And that's what always makes me the claim that all stuff is irrelevant, right? All theory is irrelevant. That is something that has been said sometimes, that we are in a different century, so we need new ideas. It's like, it's all right that we need to make studies now, but we can't just ignore the past. And when the same thing has been happening for over a century now, and God knows how long, I feel like we can just ignore it. We can just claim, the middle class, they didn't do nothing bad. The middle class doesn't exist. The middle class is proletarian. Blah blah blah. Those claims have no foundations, because it's just an excuse. It's an excuse of the middle class. The middle class has poisoned the movement And it makes sense that it has, you know?
Yeah.
Because logically the middle class will seek to be capitalist, but also to keep its status quo. And an end of class society is the end of the middle class. So it's threatening to them. You know, they can claim that they're in support of it, but when it comes down to it, they will jump to the first opportunity they have to get closer to power, to get more power, because they know better. Because these people, these lumpen people in the street, they don't know. They don't know what I know, because I am cultured unlike them. It's like, fuck off. Like,
Yeah, the black.
don't,
Yeah,
first of all, don't talk to people like that. And second, they don't know. That's the funny part. They don't know.
They really? No.
We don't know, because I'm middle class too. It's like, we don't know. So shut up and listen. You know.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated. Just listen. Just shut up and listen.
And be one of them. Be one of them. Like, I made a final essay for my African American class. We had to do like a keyword that we would want to have in our course. And I class in culture, because like Gramsci, when we're going off Gramsci's analysis of cultural hegemony, we see how like the black bourgeoisie are very culturally defined, in many ways distinct from, you know, the black proletariat, in the sense that, like, you know, the black bourgeoisie has been weaponized as a buffer class to service terrorist reaction against poor and working class black people, particularly in the past 50 years, and how, you know, they uphold these, like, they uphold and promote antisocial ideas to the black proletariat, in a way that, like, promotes, like, false promises to them and false solutions that does not confront actual conditions and actual reality of our oppression as black people in the U.S. in particular. And, you know, I touched on one of Ella Baker's speeches, Rest in Power, my girl, that's my queen. And she talked about the myth of the talented tenth and casting down your buckets concepts. You know, like, if we go through education, if we get into these trades, then we'll become more cultured. We'll become more accepted by the white world. But you have some black bourgeois people who think that, you know, because their business is out to the white world, that, you know, they have an issue with it. But it's like, y'all are trying to get acceptance by the white world, by the bourgeoisie. So do you want your business out there or do you not? Right? They don't know what they want. And that's the thing, because they don't want anything to do with poor, anything ghetto, anything hood, anything ratchet, and they demonize anything that is not, like, you know, highbrow or respectable to them. Decent, which is just playing into their mythic sense of influence they have in the world. Because, you know, when you take all of the black multimillionaires and billionaires that we have, you know, in the U.S. context, and put them together with the rest of the imperialists, it's not much. Like, it barely even hits the threshold necessary to have any sort of power and influence over the world in the imperialist system. So it's a doomed bourgeoisie, in the sense that it needs the imperialist bourgeoisie to have any sort of, like, legit, it's bullshit. But that's the point. So I touched on some of the cultural attitudes, the cultural kind of values of the black bourgeoisie, how they look down upon black youth a lot, how they sexualize black youth a lot, how they complain about how we're gangbanging and twerking and, like having our bonnets out and, going out with our cleavage showing too much. But the black bourgeoisie is not any much different because they literally inflict antisocial ills against the same people that they're demonizing. And, they don't want to create any third space for them. They have enough money to create a viable third space that is not GMO backed, that is not like NGO backed or any. They just don't care to.
Yeah.
Because they think that, poverty on us, that, we are the reason that MLK is gone. We are the reason that Malcolm X is gone. We are the reason why the Panthers are not, like, up there no more. Not realizing that the reason why they're gone is because of their change, the change in their attitudes, in their politics. Like, Malcolm X became more internationalist when he went to Mecca. MLK became even more kind of like gravitated towards socialism and internationalism and true like anti-war politics after 1964, when he saw that all that shit that they sacrificed, all the people that they've lost in the fight for civil rights, what was it really all for? And the Watts Rebellion proved that to be the case. So, black poor people are not the reason why Malcolm X is gone. And that's just the fucking truth. They point fingers at the people that, they make MLK and Malcolm X as if these upstanding figures that we should have followed more seriously. And, we are our own worst enemy, whatever. And not really putting any attention on the enemy that they're trying to get validation from.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, something I want to comment personally. When I remember when BRG started to discriminate that person, I don't remember their name, because of their age. I remember I got a bit like pissed off because I think of you, sister. You're very smart and you know a lot of stuff, and this shows it, and you're totally right about these situations. Like, there are people that when they get a taste of power, right, they just think that I've overcome poverty. I am beyond them. I am more than them. They can just do the same as me, and I am so superior as you. Like, here a common commentary that people have on, for example, with the libertarians, with the fucking fascists in power, is that their supporters, we always tell them, hey, don't think you're bourgeois. That's what we tell them. Hey, you're not bourgeois. Shut the fuck up. And we always mock them because they act like, oh, I pulled myself up from my strap boots and I live in riches now, and y'all are just lazy fucks that need to get a job. And then you ask them what they do, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a student and I live off my parents, but that doesn't matter. It's like, oh, shut up.
Yeah. It's just like the black intelligentsia is in many ways reactionary. Like, you have the Francis Quest Welsings that promote this Sunman, Iceman bullshit that is reactionary at the core. Let's just call a thing for what it is.
Yeah.
And what was the other example? I'm trying to think of it. Francis Welsing and Frank C. Wilkerson. Who else? Oh, I remember the Willie Lynch letter. That is a fake letter. That is a fake letter that they promote as being true, and it already had been confirmed that the Willie Lynch letter does not exist. But the black bourgeoisie wants to promote it as if like this is a genuine document, and a lot of the stuff in this fake document have already been like happening to us anyway. And so there is a tendency for the petty bourgeoisie to be ahistorical, and the black bourgeoisie is no exception. They revise history to their ends, and they will kind of fabricate shit, right? They'll complain about the problem of homosexuality, which is their go-to with a lot of these like black bourgeois figures, like the lesbianism, the homosexuality, feminism, dog whistles. They use them as dog whistles to make the black proletariat believe that black gay people are enemies and wreckers in our community, when the vast majority of us are just as poor as the rest. But that's the thing. That's the thing. So, like, that's why I stopped even, like, believing any bullshit in that letter, because it doesn't exist. It was made up by some guy in North Carolina in the 90s, like a black bookstore owner, from what I've heard. And like nobody could find the source of like where this letter actually came from, that there was like no documentation of a guy, that has the name and whatever. But this is what is promoted into the black proletariat as like truth, when it's not. It's lying. It's dishonest. And if we had a movement that can delineate between the so-called letter and our actual history and our actual conditions pertaining to our actual history, to our real heritage, then the black bourgeoisie would cease to have any kind of like legitimacy whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, historical revisionism is like extremely common in the petty bourgeois. It's ridiculous at times. and especially because, they're always like empirical and scientific, and we are on the right and we are so sophisticated and smart, but then science or evidence in any ways disagrees with them, and all of a sudden it's lies and it's not true and it's fake, and this clearly fake stuff is absolutely true, and you just gotta believe me because I'm on the right, because I have papers that prove it, and the papers is just like a fucking dumbass shit. It's like elitism, I think it's the word. Just because you're like just because you have this title that says that you're superior than others, all of a sudden you're like the authority of it all, and everyone else is a dumbass. And it's like, no, that's not true. But yeah, it's sad that the black community has been subject to that as well. I mean, something that I've also noticed for example, here, there are a lot, but like a ton of native figures that are either forgotten in their impact in our society. A lot of black people in our history, like in Uruguay, for example, like the black community has been very active in Uruguay for a long time, for a long time. And those figures are just forgotten. Or if they are remembered, people just make them white. Like with San Martin, the main general who led the revolutions in the Virreinato del Río de la Plata, right? With him, for example, he was mestizo. He wasn't even white. His mom was a native, and he was painted as this noble Spanish general that came here and liberated us from the Spanish, and that's not true. And so one moment.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I was just feeding my cat while I was able to hear. Um, and the Chicago community has our issues too now, and the Gestapo raids have really kind of shown that the dividing lines as well, and with the kidnappings and all this, and the Americanization, and I mean the petty bourgeoisie are a big problem in general. They've really become a huge problem more than ever worldwide. The DSA is a good symptom of that so-called left petty bourgeois. It's just fucking disgusting to see how a lot of it plays out for sure, and how this American ideology can infect communities, and it robs people, it breaks people up as well. It's not even safe to move over here as well, or even travel, honestly.
I'm back.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I hope I didn't say anything bad before. So, yeah.
Oh, you're all good.
I can beat them.
You're all good.
Yeah, goods.
Yeah, it's
yeah, remember everyone to stay hydrated.
Yeah, I drank some tea before the stream. Well, it's one of these kind of like, not tea, but like it's like the $1, $2 stuff at the store. But
yeah, I mean most drinks have a lot of water in them, so it's good. Did you know that Coke Zero has 99% water? Crazy stuff.
It's just really disgusting with the petty bourgeois so-called left, and the labor aristocrat culture, and yeah, America has a huge tendency for escapism, neo-escapism, and and I'm not one of those people who say like don't watch movies or whatever. I'm really not at all. But like I have noticed that within the last 12, 15 months, maybe even more, like some of the public has just gone into like isolation mode and they just want to watch Netflix or Disney. Or, some of them are on TikTok, but they're not watching political stuff. That kind of thing. Like we don't even have our like regular escapism of the past where like people actually like hung out at like I don't know bars or I don't know maybe they went skating. That used to be a thing kinda in the 90s and the 2000s. You would think like oh they're just going out with family or friends or they're doing something else. But really the escapism out here has actually just become even more atomized and more pathetic than that. Um, and you have a lot of people now saying that they're apolitical because they're burnt out. And yet now even the people who claim to be political radicals, these reformists and all that, and these dangus too, who are usually reformists anyways of some kind, they themselves are actually even less radical than the public. Because at least the public understands that this voting shit is rigged to a degree. Some of them have never even voted actually. Like, but like these radical so-called, these people on the reformist side of things, they're even worse because they're misleading people. They're miseducating people. Like they really are. They really are. It's um it's flabbergasting. It's disgusting living out here in America. It's I really wish it was as simple as just yelling at the sky and like maybe yelling at people in public to like wake up. Because if that was the case, I'd be doing that now. But it really isn't that easy. And but like these people are making it worse. And you so-called Marxists that are out there dogmatically defending Mondani, dogmatically defending outdated reformist concepts, Bernsteinism, Kautskyism, Plekhanovism, all this crap. You know, like no, you can't do a popular front with Mondani and Trump. That's fucking insane. That is
The
absolutely
National United
insane.
Front.
Yeah, we need a united front against fascism and against this imperialist shit. And yeah, Palestine is a way to organize people around that. And look, your Zionist DSA types and all that, and these Zionist trots because they exist. They're never they might be doomed. Like really, they're never gonna. There's not in their interest to oppose Zionism. They just want their little class reductionist conception of whatever, you know. And they got to get out of the spaces. They got to go. They got to go. They're not welcome. We don't need to share labor. We don't need to share a division of labor with them. Zero. And there's also this thing where like we got to acknowledge that like the failures of revisionism, the failures of communists here has caused us to be in this place. And it is time for us to be strong with our principles, especially as people are being kidnapped and killed around the world. It is not the time to water our shit down and be, oh, let's not say it's social fascism. No, we don't need that. I'm not telling people to be toxic masculine or whatever, like some of those other people who take it to the other extreme. I'm just saying, be strong with your principles. Stand up for Palestine. Call this shit out. Call it out. That's what we really need the orgs to understand, you know, and, yeah.
Yeah. yeah, it's like people have been calling. I've been hearing it's a talking point amongst Peronists here too, that it's a common talking point that to have a unity in as a nation and not and not by parties, not by class, and it's like class collaborationism is on the rise again. Oh, I love that, guys. I know the billionaires are literally killing us all, but like maybe you should work with them. I think fascism is bad, but maybe we want the same thing. Have you thought about it? And it's like, no, we don't work with fascism.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's like we have to call things out for what it is. And I've been recording audiobooks as well and all that, and it's like the point of critique as well, even before like Kant, Hegel, and the Greek sense of it was to create a differentiation. I can't pronounce it well. It's the English words. It's not even my first language actually, but it's to differentiate ourselves, and it's just that is the point of critique. And yeah, let's be honest here. The American left, they don't even know what critique is. They don't even know. They think critique actually like means like attacking somebody. Like they actually believe that because they're that, you know. And it's a miseducation problem. It's also a bourgeois problem. It's
Yeah, it's a problem in many ways. Like criticism isn't a bad thing. It's not inherently a bad thing. Criticism is good. Genuine criticism is very good. But some people see you question anything, you question something that someone does, and all of a sudden you're Satan and you want to kill them and eat their organs, and you're actually like a fascist for criticizing Mamdani on supporting Zionism openly and blatantly too. And it's like, if no one criticizes you, you're just surrounded by yes men, as I think is the term in English. And people criticize, Americans in particular, love to criticize, for example, Putin on saying, oh, he's surrounded by yes men. And that is true. But have you looked at the fucking mirror? Because a lot of Americans are scared of criticism. Because in their eyes, criticism is that. It's an attack. You're not trying to help someone if you criticize them. You're trying to put them down. That's what they see. And that's not how criticism works. Criticism is important because if you only see through your own eyes, you're not seeing much. And people, in particular the middle class, is very prone to falling into revisionism, as we've seen. So we have to, people need to be criticized to stop that,
It's not as simple as that. Death by starvation in Gaza is not the collateral, unintended consequences of an obscure, anonymous, amorphous crisis. It is the result of deliberate policy on the part of the Israeli government bent on using the resources of a highly sophisticated state to render Palestinian life in Gaza impossible. Around the world, there are 11 places where more people are at serious risk of hunger than Gaza. But what this wider view of global famine reveals is not that Gaza is quote-unquote normal, but precisely the opposite, being the result of deliberate policy by a powerful state commonly regarded as belonging to the exclusive club of quote-unquote advanced economies. This mass starvation in Gaza in the summer of 2025 is quite unlike that anywhere else in the world. This exceptional quality is further emphasized if we ask simply, what percentage of the Palestinian population in Gaza is affected? In any estimate of the deliberateness of mass killing, this is a key index. It is often cited to demonstrate, for instance, the difference between the killing by the Nazi occupiers of Poland Jews and non-Jewish Poles. Both projects of mass murder were intense, but the Nazi extermination of Jews in Poland clearly aimed from the outset at total extermination. Across the hunger hotspots of the world in 2025, what is the percentage of the population that is at risk? In Nigeria, mainly in the north, it is 1/6 of the population. In the DRC, it is roughly a quarter of the population. South Sudan and Haiti, the places most commonly cited in arguments about the application of, quote, special standards, end quote, to Israel, the share of the population at between 49 and 57%. In Gaza, the share is 100%. The risk of famine is total. According to the IPC analysis released in May 2025, the entire population of the Gaza Strip, around 2.1 million people, were projected to face crisis of or worse, IPC phase 3 or above, levels of acute food insecurity, May and September 2025. This includes 470,000 people in catastrophe and over 1 million in emergency IPC phase, so IPC phase 5 for catastrophe and IPC phase 4 for emergency. Even if essential supplies are permitted to enter, the quantity distribution mechanism and timing may be inadequate. No, it is inadequate to prevent a rapid and uncontrollable collapse into famine. We're already at that point. Concerns remain extremely high as the key drivers of food insecurity continue to deteriorate. Households are increasingly resorting to extreme coping strategies, including collecting garbage to sell for food. Observations reveal that social order is breaking down. A condition of total, all-inclusive starvation is highly unusual. No doubt the reality of on the ground continues to exhibit gradations of inequality and hierarchy and not captured by the UN statistics. But this finding points once again to the exceptional circumstances of Gaza, which are those of a siege, a prison, or a ghetto. And within that space, a horrifying pressure is being applied, as Deval remarks. When mass starvation grips the community, something rare and terrible occurs. Starvation is not only the biological phenomena of the body wasting away, it's also the death rattle of society. Famine is the sight of people scavenging for food in a garbage heap. It's a woman cooking in secret, hiding food from her starving cousins. It's a family selling its grandmother's jewelry for a single meal, their faces blank, glazed. This is the